Hello everybody, my name is Christian Gravias. Welcome to the first episode of the CG Show. My guest today, the brains behind the cult Instagram brand Alya Skin, James Hachem, Manny Barbas. Welcome. What you guys have achieved in 16 months is incredible.
Thank you, Christian.
Can I just start? Two guys jumping into the skincare industry. How did this happen? How have you gone in such a flooded market to start in just 16 months and you've done $7 million in revenue? To me, it blows my brains.
Yeah, we never thought that we would be in business together, owning a skincare company, especially a pink clay mask.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when I was a baby and I popped out, I actually thought, I want to make a pink clay mask. Nah. Honestly, me and James have been best mates for ages, especially in high school. We'd always wanted to do a business together, and we both knew it's important to work with someone that you can trust, and that's as motivated as you, and that's me and James. We've got the same sort of energy, same as yourself.
I love it.
And from there, the idea was born. We started working on it 6 months prior.
Take me back way back from the
I
beginning.
can't
So
even
you guys went to school together.
Yeah.
Now, what was that? Were you guys very close at school? What was your mindset like?
We went to Xavier together.
Yes.
And in Xavier, the senior school comes together in year 9, which is when we would have met. And all the way up into year 12, we remained close. And then I think it was year 12 when Manny was doing some sort of a e-commerce business selling phone chargers.
Phone chargers?
Yeah, so
I didn't know about this one.
So what I used to do is I was known as the phone case boy at school. So I'd import charging cases.
Yes.
At the start of year 12, and I'd sell them out of my locker. So it was like those little cases that plug into your phone, you charge your phone.
Yeah.
And I would literally have teachers come out to me to buy them. I think every single kid in the school bought one.
And it was quite.
And the funny thing is, half of them didn't even work.
What was quite funny was that there was one instance where I was stuck in the middle of Manny and another good friend of mine, who we're still very good friends with. He actually tried to steal Manny's idea. And tried to start a phone case company as well because he saw how well Manny was doing, and I was the media at that point, and I think that was when Manny.
We wrote no names.
That was the moment when Manny and I became close. But I think even then I was selling fake IDs.
I was about to say that. What were you selling?
I was selling fake IDs in school, and Manny was definitely one of my customers. And I think Manny actually overpaid for one of them.
I love it.
Basically, what we're saying is we always had this entrepreneurial side in us. But
sorry.
And then from there, if you're already born with that, buying, selling things and making money, it eventually led into starting your own business and taking it seriously.
Yeah. What was it like? So obviously you finished school, and where were your mindsets at? Did you guys go to university?
Yeah.
I didn't. Well, James went to university and finished. Yeah.
Yeah. So I graduated in economics and finance, and at the same time, so Manny and I did business management together in year 12.
Yes.
And we had a few study sessions together. Went to a few seminars, and Manny was studying at Melbourne or Monash.
I studied business management and marketing. So business for me at school was my favourite subject. I did business in year 12. I got ducks of business management at school. So I actually learnt pretty much everything I know about business in business management because I studied the textbook that hard. But then I went to uni and studied it, and I just found that because I was so motivated to do my own business, and I'd already been doing some business, I was learning more outside of school. So I'd find myself on my laptop working away. My tutor would be like, "Come on, what are you doing? You're doing your own work." So then I remember ringing my dad, who I look up to a lot, and I was like, "Dad, I don't really think uni's for me." And I remember leaving, and at that day...
How long were you there for?
I was there for about a year and a half. Yeah. And I remember at that day when I turned around, like I was on the way to uni, I turned around and I left, and I thought, shit, I kind of feel like a dropout here. Like I actually did, even though I'd done well at school and everything. But if anything, it just sort of held me back. And that's not me saying to everyone that you should not do uni, which you definitely should. But
it's a good safety net.
Yeah, but you can also learn, especially if you're doing business. Business is taught when you're doing business and making mistakes and learning. I don't think you can learn true business in a classroom.
I don't think so either. Even bring it back to when I was doing, real estate, for example, in school. It was just, you don't learn it until you're actually on the job.
Yeah, until you're practicing
you
it,
get
for
your
sure.
hands dirty. And
So let's fast track to how we got to Alya Skin. So Manny had a watch company, but called Barbas and Zachary. I was studying economics finance. I graduated. Once Manny sold that business, he started a teeth whitening business called Bianco Smile, and I started cafes. I was in hospitality with my family. And I was actually supposed to launch with Bianco Smile with Manny, but he just said, you know what, let me do this one on my own. I had a business partner, my last one. I just wanted to do this on my own, see how I go.
So yep.
And once he sold that was when we decided, okay, let's go into Alya Skin. So really, along the whole way, we always knew we wanted to be in business with each other, and it was almost like destiny. So
were you guys throughout, how long was that? A couple of years?
Like a year or 2 years. But I would have been one of the first people that knew about Bianco Smile. I was with you.
I always relayed everything to James. My first business, I had a partner. We got rid of the business. Then I worked on the second one by myself. That business was sold, and I remember saying to James, I'm like, man, like he was saying to me, like, aren't you excited? Like, I flew to Sydney and brokered the deal myself, flew back. And James was like, aren't you excited? And I'm like, well, not really, because I don't really have anyone to share it with. And that's when I said to James, you know what, fuck it, let's do this. Let's do this together and let's just smash it.
And then so it was more the fact that you wanted to share your experiences with somebody else, and that's why, James being so close to you, you guys went together. How do you feel all your experiences previously with you working in the cafes and you especially in the e-commerce, how do you feel that just led you to when you launched Alya Skin in that first week, you guys did $50,000 or something in revenue? Like, this was no slow start. Like, this was jumping straight out of the blocks, like, with a bang.
Yeah, because, well, coming back to the point of me doing teeth white and him being in a cafe, it doesn't matter what we were doing. It's just that we both had the same drive and ambition.
Yeah.
So we put
Business
that together.
minded.
Yeah.
And I remember I said to James, we're going to be in the office. This is what I've done before, like previously to starting a business. We're going to be there for 4 months working every day, which is what we did.
Yeah.
We worked like dogs. And so like heaps of the work was done before, like before we even launched. So when we launched, we just pressed click. Like, we had all the ambassadors ready. We had all the PR articles we wanted to be in. That's why we just launched, and it was as if, so it's as if the business had started 4 months prior.
Yeah, and how did this even come about? Like, as we discussed, like, two guys coming up with this magic idea to just decide to sell pink clay masks. Like, how did it all come along?
Well, Manny and I, we knew we'd complement each other really well. So Manny was obviously very creative. He'd had other e-commerce businesses. I'd had some small e-commerce businesses, had the cafes, and I studied economics in finance. So we thought, let's do this and let him focus on what he's really, really good at in terms of creative, and let me focus on the number side of things.
Yeah.
And when we decided to go into business together, I think we were at Crown, and I was like, Manny, we're going to do this. And he said, yeah, let's do it. Let's like finally launch something together. And I said, have you got anything in mind? Have you had anything, like, have you been looking on Instagram, what's trending? And he noticed that clay masks were trending. And then that's when we thought, okay, let's do something together. And that's when we decided the name together, what color clay mask to do. Then we started formulating the product, which took us like 6 months. And as Manny said, we worked for probably 4 months in the office every day before launch, because we knew how hard and competitive it would be launching a skincare company, regardless if it's through social media or whatever it is. We knew that we'd had to launch with a big push, and influencers was our way, and PR as well.
And going into the influencers, like, what was so different? Because, I look at how you guys aimed for micro-influencing. What was the strategy really behind that? Why?
The strategy is basically, especially because we're not the first clay mask on the market, right? There's plenty of them.
Yes.
So if you're launching a product, let's say you're launching a phone, there's heaps of phones in the market. Doesn't matter if there's competition. When you launch, you want to be everywhere quickly, and you create hype, and everyone's talking about you.
Yeah.
So basically what we did is we have a team of staff that help us, and we say send out to every single girl you can see.
Yeah.
Start with Melbourne, start with Sydney, start with Queensland, go all the way around Australia, and just make it a ripple effect.
How many girls did we have working on this for us when we launched? Like 5?
5 or 6 girls.
5 girls just constantly databasing every single day.
Me and James would sit there all day, even ourselves, by the way. Like, this wasn't just us delegating it to them. We would do it as well. We'd sit there, okay, write her name down. Anyway, so we would database thousands of girls, click one button, send them a blast email, send them out the product. So at the start, we sent out about 1,000 girls.
Yeah.
Now we send out around 500-ish weekly, and sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit
And
less.
of course, there's more to it. It's about understanding your demographic. It's about understanding their followers. It's about understanding their content that you think that they can provide, and it's picking and choosing. We weren't just databasing any girl. It was girls who we thought, or influencers that we thought would suit our brand and fit our brand.
But at the start, we were going for the wide spectrum. Like, we were going for like your 2,000 followers, 1,000 followers, because people need to understand that with micro-influencers, don't worry about your 100,000 follower influencers yet. The ones that are going to make you sales are the ones that want to be influencers, which are your nano influencers, like the one before micro. Because these girls, they want to post. They want to feel like they're influencers. And if you have a product that works and you give it to them, they're going to be posting 4 times a week. Like, me and James look at ourselves and like, I swear this girl's posted 4 times every night a story. Like, and it's amazing because they support the brand, they love the product.
110%.
And you end up having a relationship with the influencer,
110%.
which is great.
They feel like they're kind of a part of something,
Exactly
and it helps out. And
But we make them feel like that. I think that's up to us with the emails that we send, the way we communicate with them. It's up to us to make them feel like they're part of the brand, which they are.
And which they are, of course. And even in the aspect of, how do you feel that translated, for example, with the lady that was posting that has 1,000 followers in comparison to the lady that's got 100,000 followers? How do you feel that their followers would perceive the post, for example? Does it make a difference? Like, does it
massive difference?
Yeah,
because someone with 1,000 followers, if they're posting, right, they're not already an influencer. They're not getting paid to do that post. Everyone knows that. If you post a photo, for example, you got 5,000 followers, whatever it is.
Hopefully 50,000 very soon.
I'm going to probably message you and be like, Christian, what fedora is it this time? Like, you know what I mean? So, but you know what I mean? It's a very personal, it's a personal relationship with your followers.
And to what Manny's saying, micro-influencers don't post very often as well. So when a girl posts for the first time, or it might be the second time, her followers believe it because she's never posted about anything before. So wow, maybe she really does love this product. Maybe this product is really good. And
even in the aspect of the way they would post, or is there anything different, or not really? It's just more. Because,
of course, there's a lot behind it, but we've got a team that works in that for sure.
And what other strategies do you think you guys implemented that worked very well to separate you guys, from your competition?
One thing I can remember from the start, I remember saying to James, I said, it's a skincare company, and I think it's all about developing trust with the audience. Like I said, let's not post models. Let's post genuine females. I don't care
genuine
if
results.
they're genuine results and genuine like looking girls, not normal girls that you see every day. Not your Miranda Kerrs, because that looks like it's set up.
It's PR.
Exactly. So if you go on our website, it's just actual customers. And all the result. We don't hide any reviews. And it's genuine, and people believe it, and then that's how we also grow this community, because we involve the customers so much. Like, we've got a Facebook group called Alya Skin Superstars or something like that.
Like, get me in there.
Yeah, I'll get in there. When you buy a product, I'll get in there. So we invite them all into that group, and we get them to post about their results. If they have any questions, like some girls will be like, "Hey girls, like, do I use the exfoliator after the mask?" Anyway, it's creating like this community, and they talk. And it's just about building a family, and that's how you build a loyal following and repetitive customers and everything. And
talk to me about getting into Priceline. Like, I think for me, I've been following your journey now probably since the start, and I think that to me was massive. For you guys, how did it all come about? And 360 stores in Australia, but also 1,500 worldwide. How did it all come about?
So when we were databasing, as we mentioned before, we were databasing any pharmacy that we could find in Australia. And I remember Manny and I were sitting down and we were like, should we database Priceline stores? And we kind of laughed at each other, thinking it's only been 2 months. Like, we don't really have a shot. They're probably not going to reply. But we just did, because we just backed ourselves in, and we had total confidence in the brand and the consistency through the brand, whether it be the packaging, the website, whatever it may be. We just had total confidence in it. And I remember it was maybe 1 month later, a senior buyer at Priceline reached out to us and said, "Yeah, we want to stock your product." And Manny and I were kind of in shock. It was a little bit of a surreal feeling, but it was a really long process. And
What was the process like?
it was just going back and forth, like going back and forth with the senior buyer, documents, and sometimes what happens with a massive retailer like that, things get lost.
Yeah.
So we thought, how can we speed up this process? And we spoke to somebody who had a little bit of experience from Bondi Sands, one of the owners in retail, and he gave us advice to work with a distributor. And luckily enough, we ended up with Bondi Sands distributor, and they had already great relationships with Priceline.
So they kind of knew
what we did is we used. We approached Priceline, we got interest from them, and we used that as our hook to get the distributor. So as James said, it was back and forth because unless you're going through a distributor, you're not going to get.
You don't have that sort of relationship.
And they're talking like, I remember reading all these emails, and I'm like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what this means. I don't know what this means. And it was too much. So I remember like we spoke to the distributor, and this would have been like 5, 6 o'clock at night. And I was walking around the office, pacing around the office, talking to this distributor of Bondi Sands for an hour on the phone. And then I remember James had just left, and I rang, and I'm like, dude, I think we just got Bondi Sands distributor. Like I remember that moment. But yeah, that's what we did. We used Priceline. We got their sort of yes, and then we used that as the hook to get the distributor.
And we didn't launch into Priceline until maybe September. So it took a while from when they said yes to when we launched. But I think at that point, going back to your question, how exciting was it? That was probably the moment where the business felt so real.
Yeah.
Up until that point, it was fun, we were doing well, but we didn't know how serious it was. We didn't know that we really had our hands on something that could be around forever. That could be the
next bloody.
Yeah, exactly right. Like it could be something that is going to be sold in every country, on every shelf, in every retail store. And once we launched into Priceline and saw our products on shelves, that was probably the most satisfying moment for us at that point for the business.
Can I ask, I remember watching, for example, you guys going past on your Instagram stories and just snapping away, looking at your products there. What is that? What's that feeling? We're in the city. I think you uploaded a photo. And you're just standing there and your pink products just there, flying around in front of you.
I'm going to get the photo.
Yeah. What was that feeling? Can I ask? Because, as a young boy, when you're going through, and I'm sure even when you first launched this business,
it makes you proud. It makes you extremely proud, but it makes you want to work harder.
Yep.
And it makes you want to launch new products constantly. So hopefully one day, we can be the next Bondi Sands where they've got 20 different SKUs on the shelf, because shelf space is very important for your brand. It gives you brand awareness. And at the moment, we've got 3 products in Priceline. We're launching another one, hopefully by the end of the year, which will also be in Priceline. And yeah, it makes you just want to work harder, because that feeling that you get is quite surreal. And the more products you bring out, the prouder you're gonna be.
Of course.
And I'll never stop snapping.
Yeah.
I love it. It's very motivating.
I think at the end of the day, you look at that, and to me, as you said, it makes yourself proud, but it just makes you want it more. You want to get every single product of yours in there. You want to blow this thing up to the biggest, to the biggest scale that you can get it to. So obviously you started with was that your first store in Australia that you got in? Was there any other little retailers or anything like that previously?
There was 2 or 3 little small pharmacies, but they weren't.
Nothing
it was
crazy.
3 or 4 units. And to be honest, at the start, I actually thought, okay, crap, wholesale's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Because we'd both never done wholesale before, really. But then, once we're in Priceline, from there, it was just take off, because we have the best team in Australia helping us push the product into retail. So from there, it was from Priceline to almost 1,000 stores in 3-4 months.
And one question that was kind of on my mind when you guys launched, obviously, into the retail stores, which is, number one, I understand it's brilliant, but when they say retailers, retail in general is going down, for example, what was the big reason that you guys pushed it so hard to get in there? Was it to create the brand awareness?
For sure.
Yeah.
And I can't express this enough to any entrepreneurs that are listening.
Yeah.
It's so important to learn from those who know more.
Yeah.
And we seeked advice from other people who had experience in retail and other people who had any sort of business in the same kind of niche.
Yeah.
And they all expressed to us,
get in there.
Yeah, make sure you're in retail, but not only launch in retail, launch into retail with a distributor, with someone who is going to be able to help you, especially we hadn't done it before. Yeah. So we didn't really know what we were doing. Okay. they went on to just show how important it was about branding awareness and shelf space. It's super important.
Isn't that like the beauty of business though? Like, is what you just said. Yeah, you didn't really know what you guys were doing. Like, I'm sure take it back all the way from the start. And as you said, Manny, at university, until you're actually in there, that's when you start learning what challenges, because you guys have grown at such a ridiculous pace. Like, I'm just going to read through some numbers just quickly. In the first week, as I said, $50,000. Then in the first 4 months, that's when you hit that $1 million mark in revenue. And now in 14 months, as we've discussed, $7 million in revenue. Like, these numbers, you're multiplying by the months. Like, what challenges have you been facing at every little milestone that you're having to, jump up? Like, what new things are coming up? Like, how are you even sustaining that growth?
I think that James and I are both very mature. We've matured a lot since we started the business.
Yeah.
The hardest part is not getting overexcited.
Yeah.
So, for example, like, we've had a retailer, I won't say who, knock on our door, and we've had to reject it. And that could have given us another $1 million in revenue within 6 months. So it's about being, one of the most difficult parts is just staying humble and being mature and knowing this is going to be a long-term thing, take it step by step. And as soon as you start thinking like that, and I picture stepping stones in my head, as does James, that's how you grow. So we know, okay, we're going to get distribution here. We're going to lock in the distributor in Canada. We're going to do the same thing in Thailand. Thailand. Thailand as well, yeah. I'm going to Thailand the other day, so I just thought of Thailand there. Anyway, so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then it's just about focusing on the online stuff and just sticking to what you're good at and working hard, like putting in the hours and working smart. It's not always about how many hours you put in, it's about what value you bring and just making sure you stay focused and not getting ahead of yourself.
And I think that's it's a big statement for you guys to make, because you guys have been in the news. You guys have been everywhere. Like, everywhere I look, Alya Skin, Pink Clay Masks, James Hachem, Manny, Barbas, they're doing this, they're doing that. Like, how do you guys stay so grounded? Having, a lot of pressure, not from obviously what you guys are doing, but just everybody around you. They're seeing the numbers. They're seeing what you guys are doing. How does that make you feel? And my next question is going to be, what kind of response have you had? Obviously, these, a lot of people don't matter, but I'm sure the general public, there'd be a few haters out of there and a few people that are,
You've got, you've always got people that.
But we've been, sorry.
No, you go.
So we've been quite lucky, I think, Manny and I, how much support we've had from our family and friends, even from you boys, from all of our friends. It's been amazing. We haven't had much hate at all, anyway, not to our face. So it's been an amazing journey. But to go back to your first question, how do we stay grounded? I think it's because we've both got the same objective. Yeah. We don't look too much into the money, of course. We got you get into business to make money, of course. But our objective is to build a legacy. And until we do, then we're not going to look back and we're not going to get too excited. We're just going to continue to launch new products and to build the brand. And hopefully our brand will be, a household name, everywhere in the world. And that's what we're aiming towards. And whether we be in 20,000 retailers, 30,000 retailers, that's our objective. And we're both aligned with that. And that's why we're so grounded, I think.
I think also because, like what James just said, I think everything we've said happens, as in, like, we said we're going to eventually enter Priceline, and we did. And then we just figure out how do we do it. So that's how we stay grounded, is because we know that there's a path and we're just focused on the path. We're not focusing on the money that we're making. We're not focusing on other external factors. We're focusing on the actual business. Like, we know we're going to get to 30,000 stores and we know that what we need to do to get there, and we won't be happy and celebrate till we get there. Like, of course, we have little wins on the way, but,
of course.
But that's how we think.
How funny is it, Manny, how when we first launched, we said, if we get into Priceline, we'd be the happiest people in the world. And then once you do get into Priceline, it's like, what's next?
Yeah,
but that is exactly why we do well, because we don't think we think what's next. We don't just stop there.
We're not content.
Because that just proved to ourselves we can do this, and we just went into Priceline. It's like, wow, holy shit, that's a big retailer. It's
bloody insane.
Like, now what's next? Yeah,
so, and I look at that, because you guys have gone from 360 stores at Priceline, now 1,500, and you're getting overseas now. Talk about that. What happened? Did that all unravel after the big announcement of Priceline? Like, what was it?
Yeah.
We've been working on getting overseas distributors for a while. So, like, James and I would, like, we're database distributors in, like, Canada and stuff. So we've been talking to these guys for ages before you sign with the... And for anyone that doesn't know, a distributor is someone who sells into retail stores exclusively for you in that country.
Okay.
So we sell to them, they sell to the stores.
Nice.
But we're just me and James just sit down, we'll just choose, okay, Canada's next, that's the next market, and then we just have to find the best distributor there, and then sign the contract with them, which takes ages, and it's very hard to do. And then so by the end
then they approach retailers for us.
Is it what's very hard? Is it because everybody's coming to them and everybody wants in, or is it their terms that you're trying to negotiate?
Yeah, it's the terms, because you're giving one company responsibility of your brand in that whole territory.
Yeah,
but it's one country that you're giving them responsibility, and if they don't do a good job and they let you down, then it's very, very hard to recover. It's almost near impossible to recover once you've launched your brand and you've made mistakes. Very, very hard to recover from that, especially launching to a retailer.
Yeah.
If you launch and you're not selling through straight away, they'll give you 6 months, 9 months. Once you get delisted, you're never going back in, and no other retailers are going to look after you, because all these retailers talk to each other.
Yeah.
And they all connect, and they know what's selling well, what's not selling well.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important. That's why the process is so long. You want to get to know them. It's hard being in Australia when you're about to sign with someone in Canada. So Manny and I are hopefully going to Canada in end of October to meet our distributors, to hopefully launch into retailers there, see our products on shelf. And that will be exciting for us as well, because we're in 1,500 stores, but we're in retailers in Australia and New Zealand. It'll be good to be somewhere so far away from Australia.
Okay, so you guys are only in Australia and New Zealand, and now about to start the next phase of your...
Yeah.
Exactly right.
What's the strategy? Obviously, you want to get into America, but I'm sure you guys would know that's one massive...
So what we're doing is we're launching... We've got Canada.
Yeah.
We've got the UK. We've got the Middle East.
Yeah.
We've got China, Taiwan. And it's going to be a slow grind, but over the next 6 months, like it's a lot of countries actually.
Yeah,
6 months.
it's a fair few.
But by the end of the year, we should have distribution in all those countries. So I think the next 6 months is going to be very, very full on for us, and we're even moving offices now. We're going to try and grow a team here to help us support that growth, because it's getting difficult doing it, just the two of us and a few other staff. But yeah, it should be exciting. I'm excited to see what happens.
It's and that was going to lead to my next question of you guys going overseas. Talk to me a little bit about your trip a couple months ago in LA. I was following you guys. Saw a news article that apparently you guys were driving around in Lamborghinis and chilling with Drake's dad, and then I was watching snaps of, what was it, Kevin Hart and the poker player, Antonio. It was a boxing match over a bet.
Yeah.
And how did you guys get there? I remember it was like 4 a.m. I think I was watching it. It was a Saturday night. I was just in bed. I was like, wow, this is insane. There's Dan Bilzerian, and there's everything going on here, and you just got James and Manny just enjoying yourselves.
So I think it was maybe 1 week before Coachella we decided to go. And honestly, as much as it was to have fun and go on a holiday, there was a lot of networking, and it was business as well.
I think it was Bondi Sands?
Yeah, so
did they do a launch?
Yeah, so they did a launch as well, and we got a good relationship with them, and it was an opportunity we didn't want to miss out on, because networking is very important, relationships is important, and meeting new influencers, meeting brand owners. We met the brand owners of White Fox, one of the biggest fashion retailers in Australia. We've become good friends with them. We met the owners of Nana Judy, another well-known fashion brand in Australia. Yeah. And just meeting influencers, once you've got that relationship with them, it makes it much easier to get them to post.
Yeah.
We spent a week. We spent 3 weeks in America actually, but the people who buy our Snapchat ads, they're in America in Orange County, so we got to meet them. Our old Facebook buyer was in America, so we got to build a relationship with him as well. Just moving forward, it's always good to be able to connect with people who know a little bit more than you, especially who know a lot about things that are in different space. And then somehow we ended up at Kevin Hart and Antonio fight.
Who won?
Antonio won. So they're
What was it like? Like,
so Antonio's a good friend of ours, like a good family friend of ours.
Yeah,
and
okay.
he plays poker with Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
And they were sitting on a table, and the story just goes that Antonio said that he'd kick his ass, and Kevin Hart said, "Let's bet." So they bet for 350,000 American, which is like 500,000 Australian, and yeah, we got there.
And he knocked him out.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. We got there, and Dan Bilzerian walks in, Don Cheadle from the Avengers walked in. There were a few billionaires, and it was quite surreal. Manny and I were just like...
Were you just
And there was
standing
like
there?
3 rows of seats. Like,
Yeah, there were only 50 people there.
It was a very intimate event.
No cameras were allowed.
50 people.
I think Manny and I tried to take some videos, and we got told off.
Yeah.
We got told off. But yeah, it was quite surreal. It was a really cool experience.
But that article that got posted, I remember reading it. It's like, the boys are living this startup luxury lifestyle, driving Lamborghinis. It's like, me and James aren't like that. We don't own the Lamborghinis. I wish we did. And it wasn't even in America. It was at Jerry's wedding. It was us sitting on the car at a wedding.
So Manny was just there, just letting all the girls like message him. Yeah, it's my Lambo.
But I think for those who are wanting to start their own e-commerce business, that's definitely one of the advantages of having your own business is the flexibility, the lifestyle. We got an Airbnb in LA for 1 week, and we were working every morning, every day. We'd go out for dinner, go out for lunch. When we came back to the Airbnb, we'd be working. And I think it's the leap of faith for young entrepreneurs who want to start their own business. They should take that into consideration and not only think that it's very hard work to build a brand, but you get to do it from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And as long as you have your laptop, you'll be able to do whatever you want. So,
and I think that's obviously I compare, for example, what I do compared to you guys. Like, you guys are all obviously based, it's all on the computer, and you got that flexibility, which is bloody insane. Can I ask one thing that we kind of touched on it and then we lost a little bit? America, in regards to obviously breaking in, trying to break into America, like, what does that mean? Is that, you named some very big countries. Would you say America is probably the hardest to break into?
America's the last stop for us because we want to use... When you go into America, you have one shot. It's either hit or miss.
Yeah.
And if they don't like you, you're out.
Yeah,
so
you're out.
We don't want to go into America yet until we're in all these countries and we know...
And you build that in.
We've got 20 products and then we just launch in bang. We want America to want us before we want them.
No, that's good.
Kind of thing.
That's good strategy.
Yeah.
Talk to me. You guys have had many, many, many milestones. You've had a lot of write-ups in the Daily Mail as well. Like, how does that feel? Like, just sitting there, and I know we discussed this just previously, or you brought it up, when you guys were just sitting there on your laptop, and there was an article that went out that you guys had done 7 million in sales, and then shit just got wild.
Yeah,
like,
that was a crazy day. Like, me and James spoke to Matilda, who's a reporter from there. This would have been in the morning, and I remember we went home, and James rang me, and he's like,
it was like 11:30 at night. But at this point we'd only been featured in Australia on Daily Mail.
Yeah, but what happens?
Oh, was this worldwide?
So then 11:30 hit.
Yeah, so like, just going a step back a bit. So what sometimes happens is, you can check your website visitors on your site, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes James and I are like, shit, our Facebook guys have spent all our budget, and that's what happens in a half-hour period until midnight. So I remember James rang me and he's like, what the hell is going on? There was like 900 people, 1,000 people on the site. And I'm like, oh, here we go. They've just spent 10 grand on ads in half an hour. Oh, we've lost money.
There's my money gone.
We look at our orders and it's like ding, ding, ding.
I think we did 5,000 orders in like 24 hours.
Yeah, it was like
insane.
over 200,000 in sales in 24 hours.
Were you just sitting there? Was it like this?
It was literally sitting on the couch like this. There was a fireplace next to me and I was working. I remember texting my dad. I'm like, Dad, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm not going to bed. I'm working all night. We worked till like 2 a.m. No, sorry, we worked till 2 p.m. the next day. Because we couldn't switch off. Like, it was just ding, 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 like the whole time.
Just insane, just pumping.
And it's also another good tip for people who are in e-commerce, that don't underestimate PR and make sure you put some effort into it. Whether you hire a PR company or whether you do it yourself, it's very important to build your brand.
Yeah, and another tip is that if you are young and you've got an e-commerce business and you want it to get into PR, always use your age as well, because people love seeing young success stories and editors love that. So as soon as you tell them you're 23, you're doing well, bang, they'll write something about you because it's inspiring to others.
Because obviously, they're doing well.
And they want to encourage younger
Yeah, they wanna
entrepreneurs
encourage
to
I'm going to take that tip. I'm going to try it. Hit up some PR companies. I'm young, everybody.
I'm 24.
Yeah. Well, going into being young, walking into these rooms with these people, you guys started this at 22. Now you guys are 24. So
I'm 23.
Oh, you're 23. Sorry, James. Still very young, dealing with these people like, and they're just looking at you like. And you're, for example, presenting your brand or your company to them, and they're not. Are they taking you serious because of your age, or at the start, is there a weird first reaction?
Yeah.
Like, what did you like
when we walk into a room sometimes, and whether it be with a buyer of Priceline or whether it be with a distributor, they always look at us and smile, and it's like they're so surprised that we're so young. And they're surprised as well that we're males, because a lot of the time we've had emails before getting invitations to. We once got an invitation to like a New York young entrepreneur female event. Yeah, and we just replied saying, "Are we allowed to come?" Yeah. We're actually our names are James and Manny, and they're not female names. We're actually male.
Manuela and.
But when they see, I think Christian, to go to your question, when they see this, when they see how strong our brand is and how much success we've had in a short amount of time, I think age becomes irrelevant. Yeah. They trust us, and they trust that we know what we're doing.
Especially when they've tried the product.
Yeah.
They trust us.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing.
Exactly right. Yeah. And that's when they give us respect. And when we have a meeting with them, they're very taken back by the way we deal with them. We're not very, we're very relaxed. Like we're enjoying this and we're having fun with this. It's not, we're not going to rock up to a meeting in a suit or anything like that. We want to build a relationship with them, and that way forever we'll have a good relationship with them, and then we will help each other build the brand wherever it may be, in a retail or online or whatever it may be.
No, it makes sense. And I'm sure since you guys have launched, because you've had so much just PR on you guys, I'm sure there's been a lot of copycats, or has there been people that are kind of copying your formulas? Or
there's been people that have done similar products, but you know what, James and I don't get upset about that, because if people are copying, number one, if people aren't copying you, that means you're doing something wrong.
You're doing something.
Number two, if people are copying you, it's bringing more of a market to your product. Yeah. And the superior product will always prevail. I'll use an example like High Smile Teeth Whitening. Yeah. There's so many different products with the same product, a different logo on it. And not saying that theirs is a product that you can just put a logo on it. There's obviously more customized stuff. Of course. But it's bringing a market, and they're still on top. Yeah. So we love competition. It's the best.
Is there a lot of people that copy the pink clay as well, like the same?
There's all sort of clay masks that are being launched. Yeah. It's exactly what Manny said.
Even L'Oreal and stuff have done a pink clay mask.
Okay.
And Sukin brought a pink clay mask out that is $12. But
after we launched, they brought one out and they launched.
And I'm still pretty confident we're selling more units than they are. It's just about being your own brand, and you don't worry about your competitors. You don't worry about even the larger competitors of L'Oreal, Estee Lauder. We always get asked that question: How do you launch a skincare company without, looking at L'Oreal and looking at Sukin and Estee Lauder? How are you ever going to get there? And you just don't. You don't think of it like that. You just wear Alya skin, and that's it. Yeah. Whatever they do. We don't care.
That's very true.
We don't want to know. We know our brand and what we stand for, and we'll stick to that. And whatever happens in the future happens. We'll just make sure that we work hard to build a strong brand.
The key word he just said is brand. Like, people walk into Priceline, they walk past L'Oreal, they walk past Sukin, because they're looking for Alya skin. Yeah. So they don't look at the price tag of their products like those big companies, which is half our price. We charge $49, but the product works so well. It's large in size, but they're very dedicated.
And they love the brand.
It's the brand.
They want to own Alya skin. Maybe these other brands doesn't excite them.
Like, we've gone into Priceline before, and I've actually got someone to go in and say, hey, what's the best pink clay mask here? And everyone from Priceline says, oh, there's this brand that's big on social media called Alya Skin. Like, they've got heaps of followers. So I think that even with our marketing online, it's helped us heaps, and it's made people loyal to the brand as well.
Can I talk about just Manny, even with yourself? Like, I think you started in e-commerce 5 years ago. Why? How old were you?
I was about. Look, my dad taught me how to make a website when I was about 10 or 11. Yeah. Literally, I was on the computer all the time. He wasn't in e-commerce, but my dad gave me a pathway to success. As in, he he guided me, and he's good at nurturing,
Yeah.
and he nurtured me into business, and he knew that my skills would be eventually in e-commerce
Yeah.
or building sites. But going back to that phone case story, that was my first sort of e-commerce venture, because after I realised I could sell these things in person,
Yeah.
I literally put a logo on it, and I
Yeah.
made a Wix website.
Yeah.
And coming back, I just want to tell everyone listening, I had no idea what I was doing. Literally had no idea about websites. I didn't know about how to sell. I didn't know about PayPal. I just did it all myself, and I fucked up more than you can imagine. And then it's just about learning and moving forward.
And there's still things that we learn together.
Oh,
we still stuff up every day. Like, there's
Yeah.
things that we don't know, and we know that. And you just don't want to be arrogant and think you know everything. And we love failing. Like, that's the only way that you grow.
And it's it's just important. Yeah, it's important to have people who've been through it before, like on your side, as a mentor or as someone who can give you advice. Because then sometimes you don't need to make the mistakes.
Yeah.
If we can avoid making them, then why not? And save ourselves the headache and the time.
They always say if you look at somebody else that make the mistake, then it's then you don't need to make it. You can move quicker. But even for you guys, like you talked about mentors. Number one, I'm sure, both your fathers played a massive role for you guys. But is there anyone just like in that e-commerce space that you really look up to, or is there somebody, could be any field, that you get inspiration from? Is there anywhere specifically you might get your inspiration from for what you guys do, or is it just you guys just bounce off yourselves and just keep pumping?
Now, our first mentor was Sean Wilson, who owns Bondi Sands, and he took the time to meet with us 1 month or 2 months in, and we've kept a strong relationship with him, and now Blair as well, his business partner, and they help us. They help us whenever we need, which is really good. Yeah. Obviously, you know as well, Jerry's got a successful company. He helps us a lot with in his decisions we need, and he's always, it's always about bouncing off each other. Yeah. And whether it may be a serious conversation where you're asking someone for advice, or whether Jerry's a very good friend of ours. We're sitting around a table and business comes up, and you just bounce off each other. And it's good to surround yourself with people who, they don't have to be in cosmetics, but if they're in business
in
and
general.
you can just bounce ideas off each other, and you'll learn so much from each other. Like, we can always learn from each other.
I agree. And looking just at the circle of everybody, there's just so many interesting minds that you guys, number one, can bounce off. As you said, you've just named a few, Jerry Sakis and Sean Wilson. One thing that I'm very, very, very curious about, and I've nicknamed you guys, but I haven't said it, the blue tick bandits. Like, talk to me. Like, I remember sitting on Instagram last month, and then 2 blue ticks pop up. I'm look at these movie stars. I'm like, we've joined the crew. How did that come along? Like,
I think a lot of people think that we've paid for this blue tick, but let me tell you, it does not work like that.
No, not at all. Instagram will shut you down.
The blue tick is just given to you when you've got media presence. Yeah. So because of Channel 9 News, because of Daily Mail and everything, our Facebook rep said, hey, you guys are eligible for the blue tick. They put the applications in, and that's it. That's how it happened. To us, it's not really that special. Like,
everyone's just like...
Yeah, a lot of people are like, what? But anyway, it is what it is.
Do you guys get any special privileges? Anything cool?
Christian, PR is definitely important. Whether it's for your, and I know you know this as well. Yeah. For your personal brand or for your actual business. Yeah. It's super important. And we got rewarded with the blue tick, which is great. But we never even thought about it really. We wanted PR for our company because we want Alya Skin to continue to grow, and we've been featured in Pop Sugar, Glamour. These are some of the largest cosmetic articles or beautiful articles all around the world. And we're gonna keep striving to get featured in all these articles because it's super important for Alya Skin.
That's bloody insane. Anyways, let's just let's go into some questions with some people that they've asked. Mm-hmm. So we'll start with Jenny Do.
Talk to me, Jenny.
Talk to me, girl. What differentiates you from top tier brands?
The ability for us to move quick. Mm. Because no big brand like L'Oreal or whoever else, whatever other example, can move as quickly as we can in terms of product launch and just getting it out there so quickly and penetrating the market, because a company like that has so many levels of management they have to go through, so many different tests, there's different processes. With us, it's me and James. It's like, do we like this idea? Bang, we're going to launch it.
Yeah, if we want something done,
And if it's shit, obviously cut it up quicker than you started
exactly
it,
right.
and then go to the next one.
Yeah.
Makes complete sense. How do you compete with top tier brands?
Just going back to what I said before, you stay on your own path.
Yeah.
And you don't look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
We build our own brand. We'll charge, we'll bring out affordable products that are high quality. And we'll just worry about what we're doing and make sure, I think for anyone who's starting a business, you need to make sure your branding is consistent.
Yeah.
From website to packaging to your Instagram page to even, small things like your giveaways. Make sure the colors, the branding's all consistent. And once you do that, then your consumers will trust you and your brand, and you won't need to worry about all the big players, because our aim is to hopefully be there one day. Let them do what they want to do. And we will continue growing in our own way. And if one day we get there, amazing. And if not, we'll do something else and we'll learn from our mistakes and do it even better.
One question that I've actually got for you guys, just a bit off that, going into, I think this is on a lot of people's minds when they're first starting, trying to really be, in their minds, like, I really can't compete. Was there anything that you guys did? I know obviously we discussed the micro, but was there anything else that you gained trust with, to gain the trust of the consumer?
Yeah, by communicating and making a community with our consumers.
Yeah.
So by making a Facebook page, by constantly emailing them, asking for their advice, what products would you like us to launch?
Yeah. And getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah, and you get feedback because I think we got asked the question yesterday, what feedback is the best feedback? And we both answered from your consumer, because they're the people who are buying your product.
And your customers are brutal.
Yeah, exactly right. And they're going to give you, especially because they're paying for it, they're going to give you harsh feedback. So,
but just a step before that, before the community and that, because people in the community have already purchased, we gain trust through these genuine females that we have on the site, as I mentioned before. Because if you go on the website, you can tell these are genuine people. It's very easy to spot if we've edited a photo and covered up someone's pimples.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first step as well of actually getting the trust of the consumer.
Yeah.
And when we're running, and with Facebook now, the way it's going, you're not even allowed to show before and afters anymore. So,
aren't you?
No, you're not allowed. So they've banned that. It's been quite a long time.
Little mini Lambos if you could.
So all the content that we create is without before and after. So the fact that we're able to convert without even showing people results through videos, it kind of makes us think, well, maybe they're searching the website, searching our Instagram page, and they just trust the brand and they see that we've got a little community going.
That's crazy.
And girls help each other.
Yeah.
Like they do. Like we've got some people that some customers that will say, my shipment's taking a little bit long. What should I do? And another girl will comment on it saying, oh no, it's okay. This is what you have to do. This is what maybe contact Spot. And it's like, we've built that community and built that
your own
strong fan base. Yeah, exactly right.
There's even been little bickers in the.
If you're good to your customers will be good to you.
Like some girls will be like, oh, the shipping's taking so long, and she's like, just relax. Right? It's not their fault. It's coming. It takes 5 days.
It's not Manny and James' fault.
They've got our back.
You're like, thanks, Susie. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Gal.
That's brilliant. How long did it take to get the product formulation correct? Just quietly, this is 3 from Jenny. She's smashing this.
Jenny, you've handed us that. The product formulation?
Yeah. How long did it take to get the product formulation correct?
At least 4 months, and it took back and forth samples. It was a nightmare. It wasn't a nightmare, but it's just that it was more because we were impatient, I think. I think we were so excited to launch, and it was like we tested on our hand, we tested on people. It's like, shit, it's not the right texture. Again, another 2 weeks having to wait. But we did it on purpose because the product that we have now is amazing, and we stand by it 100%. So it was worth that wait.
Just another question that I've just kind of doubled off to. Your brand, it's vegan. It's
animal cruelty free.
Animal cruelty free. Do a lot of people do a lot of brands do that?
Yeah, I think that's where the
yeah?
world's,
Trend
where the
towards
world's
it.
moving. Yeah, for sure.
Were you guys one of the first ones to really do? Or not really?
No,
It's
not
just
one of
been,
the first.
I think the way
yeah.
that we advertise it though
Yes.
is we made
Okay.
sure that we had it on our packaging.
Yeah.
We made sure it's in our videos because it's important
Yeah.
to people and it's even
Yeah.
important to us as well.
Actually, there's been
Yeah.
competitors and stuff, not direct, but actually
Yeah.
maybe a couple direct that actually have become vegan.
Or have
cruelty-free.
advertised
Okay.
them more.
Yeah, and advertise them more since we started doing it as well.
Okay, yeah, because I remember, obviously I don't sit there and look to buy clay masks, but
Are you sure?
I gotta get one. But yeah, that was just something that was on my mind. A question from Josh Oresti. Tips for an 18-year-old wanting to start an e-commerce store.
Start.
Yeah,
do
just
it.
take that leap of faith, Josh, and just back yourself in. But make sure if you're going to do it, then give it your all. There's a lot of people that have come to us wanting to start their own business, but it's almost before they started, they're unsure.
Yeah.
And if you're unsure about it before you launch, and you're not going to have any chance at success. But if you're confident that you can put time, you may have a part-time job or a full-time job, but as long as this is your second full-time job and you're working on this 5-6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, you'll become successful with enough hard work if your product is good.
Yeah.
But
Jack.
it's very hard. Yeah, it's very hard to become successful without putting the hard work in and without backing yourself in. If you're doubting yourself from the start, it's not going to work.
James is right. Like I was gonna, if he didn't say this, I was gonna add. So I'm very glad he did. Like with what Josh was asking, at 18 years old, like I was working at a fish and chip shop every night,
Yeah.
from 5 till 9 p.m. every single night,
Yeah.
and then I'd work on the business as well. So I wanted to have that income from my fish and chip shop.
Yeah.
Well, not mine that I worked at, and then I worked on the business as well. So I'd work all day on the business, then go to the fish and chip shop, and I lived off that money. So you need to like make sacrifices, and also don't go around in circles. Don't try and pinpoint little faults in every product because you'll end up just going like this. You can sell anything online as long as you market it well, it works well, and you're providing a high quality product at a good price. That's pretty much it in a nutshell, I think.
One question for myself. Again, adding on to Josh's question, you guys talked about having that mindset. Now, yeah, a lot of people, there's a lot of distractions, or there's a lot of self-doubt in themselves, and you pretty much just said just start. How did you guys, I'm sure every day is not perfect, and every day you have your ups and downs and things don't go as well as you want it to go. How do you keep that positive mindset? How do you like stay, especially when you first started, how did you stay just so straight to where you knew this was the path I need to be on? I'm not going to get lost by, not working today, and then Saturday night I'm going to, go out, and then Sunday I'm not going to work on the business, and you're just straight and you stick to it.
You need to have balance. Like everything in life is about balance.
Yeah.
From year 12 VCA, I went out every single night and I did really well in VCA.
Yeah.
There's been things that have happened in my life, like family matters.
I
know you're
what's
listening.
going on. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway.
There's been a few things in my life that have happened that have motivated me, and there's days where I don't even want to get out of bed. Like, it's not all sunshine and rainbows in business at all.
Yeah.
And then you think about those things, and then you think, okay, shit, even if you've stuffed up and, you haven't gone to work for a day, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You think about those things and you go, okay, I know why I'm doing this in the first place. I need to get back on track. Bang. And then you start working again. But yeah, it's never always like this. There's always ups and downs. People only see what they see on Instagram and they think that it's all sunshine and rainbows, but it's actually not. It's very hard, otherwise everyone would be doing it. It's a classic saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you live in a moment and you just won't get lost, you just sometimes, if you're having a bad day or something's not going right, then we have to think to ourselves, well, look how far we've gotten.
Yeah.
We've done a great job up until this point, and let's not let one or two things, ruin that. And let's just continue to move forward. And yeah, I think that's what we both do well. If sometimes we've approached retailers, they've said no, and it's not a great day, of course, because you want everyone to say yes.
Yeah.
But then you just realize, well, you know what? Maybe it wasn't meant to be, and we'll get them next time, or let's just look at how well we've done up until this point, and that's enough to put you in a good mood.
Yeah, also to pump the brakes a bit, like James said, and actually appreciate what we've done. Like, sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Like we're 24 years old, 23, like sometimes we have to just give ourselves a pat on the back.
Yeah.
Because we are we're very humble guys. Like, we don't think that what we've done is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
because we know that there's still so much more to come.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to James the other day, I said, like, because there's a lot of other business opportunities that are coming to us now, people asking us, you know, can you do this for us? Can you do this? And I said to James, I said, let's just appreciate what we've got, because it's growing a lot, you know, and just pump the brakes and just do what we're doing and keep doing it.
You said something now which has just triggered my mind when we first started this conversation. You said you said no to a retailer. Was that because you don't want to grow too sporadic? Was that too much of a jump, or was it like there?
Because it all comes down. I remember Sean Wilson said this, and this will never leave our mind. He said, Sean's the owner of Bondi Sands. He said, "This premises, the house this is your house." He said, "This is your brand. You renovate the house, you go out, and then you sell it." Yeah. Some retailers may discount your product. Yeah. They may sell a shitload of stock, but they're going to discount your product. And for us, we had to be very mature to say no.
Yeah.
Because
people think it's arrogant saying no, but it's actually arrogant saying yes.
No. Yeah, it's not arrogant at all.
It's arrogant saying yes when you're trying to grow too quick, or you're putting your brand in a position that it shouldn't be in. Yeah. And who knows, you know, whether it be that retailer or another retailer we say no to down the track, doesn't mean that it's no forever. It just means we're not ready for it yet. Yeah. And it's like America. If we think we're ready for America and we go approach a retailer, then we're just being arrogant, because we're not ready for it. It's still the brand is still a baby. It's only been 15 months, and America is another market that needs, you know, a different level of resources. And I think that's where we've been mature. But again, coming back to having a mentor, we learned that from Sean. And if Sean wasn't there telling us, then maybe we would have said yes to that retailer.
And it's funny because we'd already contacted big retailers like Sephora in our second month. And then we're like, what the fuck are we doing? Who the hell is the last skin in the second month? So we've matured along the journey as well.
And we'll just be patient, and we'll keep doing what we're doing, honing down on the retailers we're in, making sure that we sell through, because that's what's super important. And once we're confident enough in our brand and our ability to sell through in almost every retailer we're in, then we'll focus on other retailers around the world, whether they be in Australia or whether they be around the world in America. That's our goal. So our goal is just to grow slow, grow fast in online. We definitely don't want to put the brakes online. Online, we're like, let's go full steam ahead. But in retail, let's grow slow, because you only have one shot.
And if you blow it, well, then it's going to, as you said,
very hard. You ruin the relationship, and you don't want to ruin relationships with distributors or retailers. And it's very important.
Does it matter? Like, do these people, for example, let's just use America. Well, America's probably the top. Let's just say England. Do they really care where you guys are sitting, for example? Like, if you're in the Middle East, if you're in China, like, if you don't get along with them first time around, does that play a big role, or is it just two different regions?
No. You want to get along with them so they push your brand.
Yeah. But do you mean, like, as in, do you get along? Like, are you saying, would they take us if we're doing well in the Middle East?
Yes. So they definitely look. So our UK distributor, who we're hopefully about to sign with, they've got an insight on how well we're selling in Australia in retail stores. We have to give them that data, but. So, and if they ask for it and we don't give it to them, then something's not right.
So that does play, because obviously it's two different. I can understand, for example, it's two different countries, but if there was, I don't know, just
it's two different markets, but all these retailers care about are numbers. Yeah, numbers. They want an analysis on how well you're selling. They want data on how well you're selling, and that will then hopefully translate into their market.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Sorry that we literally pushed off from Josh's question, but last question. What were your career pathways you wanted to finish at school? So obviously once you finish school, we discussed that you guys wanted to, do your business course. Like, was e-commerce always on the cards, or were you looking to become a footy player, boxer? I don't know. Like,
I wanted to be an astronaut.
Yeah, an astronaut. No. I was going to say that would be pretty bloody cool, man.
I actually wanted to be a brain surgeon when I was like, when I was 8 or 9. I didn't even know how I knew what a brain surgeon was. Yeah. But, and then I wanted to do law or business. That was my. So
you were kind of always destined, and then obviously e-commerce just kind of came up. How about you? Same kind of thing.
I actually wanted to be a hedge fund manager from 12, 13. I was investing in shares, and I had a few family friends and cousins that were in our industry, and I just loved the share market, the stock
tips?
market, sorry. And yeah, I still invest here and there. But yeah, I studied economics and finance for that reason, was to hopefully become a portfolio manager of some sort. And yeah, after owning my own business with the cafes and having, 1 or 2 small e-commerce businesses, it was more enjoyable just working for myself and having that flexibility. And I think that's what we both appreciate enough. And that's the one thing we'll never take for granted, regardless of how well the business is going, regardless of how much we're growing or how successful we are. We both appreciate our lifestyle, and we have flexible lives where we're able to work from anywhere in the world, and that's one thing that I think we'll never just take for granted, because it's very hard to have that life. Not many people do.
Not at all.
And if you can do that and be successful at the same time, we never want to let go of this baby, regardless if this one doesn't go well, the next one will hopefully, do even better, and we'll keep working towards that.
I love it, man. And even just on a personal note, everything that these guys have been talking about, like, this is real. You guys as blokes are just down-to-earth champions, and I love to see that, nothing's changing, and as you guys tend to grow and just take on the world, that you're really holding that humbleness. Thank you so much. Honestly, I really appreciate you guys jumping on. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.